Hey everyone. Welcome back to another episode of, your favorite English podcast. I'm Emma, and with me, as always, is Mike.
Hello, everyone. We're so glad you could join us today. We've got such an exciting topic lined up. It's all about English in journalism and news reporting. Honestly, isn't it so fascinating how, headlines and stories just grab your attention?
Totally, Mike. Here's a quick question. Have you ever wondered, what makes news headlines so captivating and, hard to ignore? Well, we're here to explore the art of news language and make it super fun and, easy to understand.
Yeah, we'll walk you through some key phrases and vocabulary to help you navigate journalism like a pro.
Oh, and if it's your first time listening, welcome. We'd absolutely love it if you hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on any of the fun. So get comfy, and let's dive right in. Guiding words. All right, so before we dive into the heart of today's episode, let's take a moment to break down some key terms. The kind of words you'll hear in the world of journalism and news reporting.
All right, let's kick things off with some key terms you'll need to know. First up, we've got journalism.
Yeah, so journalism is basically the practice of gathering, assessing, creating, and presenting news and information. It's about telling stories that inform or educate the public.
Exactly.
And it's also how, society stays informed and connected.
Next, we have news reporting.
So, news reporting is a specific type of journalism. It focuses on relaying accurate, timely, and factual news through mediums like print, broadcast, or online platforms.
Yeah.
It's like the action-packed side of journalism, getting the facts out there fast, but keeping it reliable.
Totally. These terms are super foundational for everything we're about to dive into, so keep them in mind.
Good evening, everyone. Our top headline tonight is the highly anticipated U.S. election. Voter turnout is breaking records, and we're seeing some surprising trends across the states. For more on this, let's go live to our correspondent on the ground, Patrick. Patrick, can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear, Alex. The atmosphere here is electric. I'm standing outside a polling station in downtown Chicago, where, thousands of people have been lining up since early morning. According to sources, we're seeing a turnout of nearly 65%, a number that hasn't been hit in decades. Officials are emphasizing the importance of fact-checking to avoid spreading any bias during this critical election.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Patrick, could you elaborate on that? What's driving this unprecedented voter engagement?
Absolutely, Mia. Many voters I spoke to said they felt this election really impacts their future. Issues like healthcare, climate change, and the economy are at the forefront. One voter told me, and I quote, "This is the most important vote of my lifetime." That comment was shared on the record. It's clear that, people want their voices heard.
Thanks, Patrick. That's powerful. And what's your take on this issue regarding challenges faced at the polling stations?
Well, Alex, some polling stations have, faced technical glitches and long wait times. But officials are working tirelessly to address these issues. It's also worth noting that, misinformation is being monitored closely to ensure voters have accurate information.
Interesting. Now, Patrick, we hear you have an exclusive story on voter demographics. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, Mia, this is fascinating. Early data suggests a surge in first-time voters, especially among, young people aged 18 to 24. One young voter told me, and I quote, "This is our time to make a difference." It's inspiring to see this new generation stepping up. This will definitely be discussed in upcoming columns and editorials as a key moment in the election.
Incredible. And just as we're speaking, we're receiving breaking news about a major development. Patrick, we'll come back to you shortly. For now, stay safe out there and keep us updated.
Will do, Alex. Our correspondent reports that turnout today could reach a historic high. Reporting live from Chicago, this is Patrick for your news network.
Key phrases.
Now that we've explored that newsroom scenario, let's break down some key journalism terms and phrases that, popped up in the dialogue. First up, we have the headline.
So, the headline is the title of a news story. It's meant to grab your attention and give you a quick idea of what the article is about. For example, a headline might read, Historic Voter Turnout in U.S. Election.
Yeah,
It's like the first impression of the story. If the headline isn't strong, people might skip the article altogether.
now let's talk about the breaking news.
Oh, that's when something major happens unexpectedly, and it needs to be reported right away, often interrupting regular programming. For example, breaking news, major storm heading toward Florida.
Yeah,
It's fast-paced and keeps the audience updated in real time. Think of it as the adrenaline rush of journalism.
next we have the byline.
Right. The byline is where the reporter's name appears, usually right under the headline. For instance, you might see, by Alex Johnson. It tells you who wrote the article.
Exactly, Emma.
It's like the writer's stamp of ownership for their work, giving them credit for their reporting.
Then there's a column.
A column is a regular feature in a newspaper or website where a writer shares their opinions or insights on specific topics. For example, you might read a column titled, Why Voter Turnout Matters More Than Ever.
Right.
It's usually written in a personal style and gives readers something to think about or discuss.
Finally, let's look at editorial.
An editorial is a piece where the newspaper or media outlet shares its viewpoint on current issues or events. For instance, an editorial might argue the case for expanding voting hours.
Exactly.
And it often sparks debate because people may or may not agree with the viewpoint being expressed.
So those are the key terms. Practice using them and you'll feel like a newsroom pro in no time.
Tip of the day.
All right, listeners, today's tip of the day is summarizing. It's one of the best ways to improve your understanding of journalism language and sharpen your English skills.
Yeah, so like pick a news article, maybe something with a strong headline or an interesting editorial, and try to rewrite it in your own words.
Exactly. Focus on capturing the key details, like the main event, the sources, and any quotes that are on the record. This will help you practice using terms like breaking news and phrases like according to sources.
And don't forget to pay attention to the structure, how the byline is used, how the article opens, and how the details unfold. It's like reverse engineering the work of a journalist.
Totally. And if you make this a habit, you'll not only improve your vocabulary, but also learn to think critically about the news.
So grab a newspaper, a website, or even a podcast and start summarizing. You'll be surprised how quickly your skills improve.
Exactly. And that's your tip of the day. Let us know how it works for you.
Audio recap. Key phrases in action. Journalism. The activity or profession of gathering, assessing, creating, and presenting news and information. Example. She has a degree in journalism and works as a reporter for a local newspaper. The role of journalism is crucial in keeping the public informed. Reporter. A journalist who investigates, gathers, and presents news stories. Example. The reporter interviewed witnesses at the scene of the crime. A good reporter needs to ask the right questions and gather accurate facts. Editor. A person who is responsible for overseeing and preparing content for publication, including reviewing the work of reporters and making editorial decisions. Example. The editor reviewed the article before it went to print. She worked as a news editor, deciding which stories to feature in the daily issue. Headline. The title or heading of a news article, designed to grab the reader's attention and give a brief overview of the story. Example. The headline of the article read, Breaking News. Major earthquake strikes city. A compelling headline can attract readers to your story. Breaking news. New and important information that is happening in real time, often reported as it unfolds. Example. The breaking news coverage covered the latest political scandal. They interrupted the broadcast for breaking news about the accident. Source. A person, document, or organization that provides information for a news story. Sources are often confidential in investigative journalism. Example. The source for this article is a confidential government document. The source was an anonymous tip, but the reporter verified the facts. Story/report. a written or spoken account of events, investigations, or features presented by a journalist. Example: he filed a report on the recent protests happening downtown. The story covers the impact of climate change on local communities. Investigative journalism, a type of journalism that seeks to uncover hidden truths, often involving in-depth research and exposing corruption or wrongdoing. Example: the investigative journalism team uncovered a major scandal involving city officials. She is known for her hard-hitting investigative journalism on corporate corruption. Feature: a detailed and in-depth article that focuses on a particular subject or individual, often with a more human interest angle. Example: the magazine published a feature on the history of the city's cultural landmarks. She wrote a feature about a local artist's rise to fame. Opinion piece, a type of article where the writer expresses their personal views, usually on a current event or social issue. Example: his opinion piece criticized the government's response to the pandemic. The opinion piece in today's paper discusses the need for educational reform. Broadcast journalism, a branch of journalism focused on reporting news through television, radio, or online media. Example: she works in broadcast journalism, delivering news updates on TV every evening. With the rise of the internet, broadcast journalism has expanded to include live streams and podcasts. Column, a regular feature or article written by a journalist or expert on a specific topic, often providing personal commentary. Example: his column on global politics is published every Sunday. She writes a weekly column about technology and its impact on society. Press conference, an event where journalists are invited to hear announcements or ask questions about a topic, usually by a public figure or organization. Example: the press conference covered the company's new product launch. Reporters gathered at the press conference to question the mayor about the budget cuts. Quote: a direct repetition of someone's spoken or written words, used as evidence or support in a news article. Example: she included a quote from the mayor in her article about the city's new policies. The quote in the article perfectly captures the mood of the meeting. Bias, the presence of subjective opinions or favoritism in news reporting, which can affect the neutrality and fairness of a story. Example: journalists strive to avoid bias by presenting facts from multiple perspectives. The article was criticized for having a clear bias toward one political party.
All right, listeners, let's quickly recap what we've covered today. We dove into the fascinating world of journalism and news reporting, breaking down terms like headline, byline, breaking news, and more.
Yeah, and we explored how journalists use techniques like fact-checking and avoiding bias to report accurate and trustworthy stories. Oh, and let's not forget phrases like on the record and according to sources, key tools for both reporting and understanding the news.
Exactly. We also brought it all to life with our newsroom dialogue and shared today's tip of the day, summarizing. It's such a practical way to build your skills and, think critically about the news.
Right, Emma. And hey, if you're enjoying these episodes, don't forget to like and share it. Your support helps us keep bringing you, fun and useful content.
Absolutely. And if you try out today's tip, let us know in the comments or send us a message. We'd love to hear how it's working for you. All right, that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Oh, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out. Bye, everyone. Stay curious and keep learning.